Okay, so where's Chav Zayin? Chav Zayin is 27b. Yesterday we had a contradiction between two Baises regarding the paraduma. The question was, if the blood is sprinkled, shaloi lishma, and if it was sprinkled not in the correct direction, it's supposed to be sprinkled towards the entranceway to the temple. So it says it's puzzle. Problem was we had another brisa that said if it's sprinkled for the wrong intention, it's puzzle, which is perfect, that fits. But if it's sprinkled in the wrong direction, we said it's kosher.
This is paraduma.
By the paraduma. So we're up to Amar of Chisda. Amar of Chisda is over there. Amar of Chisda like kasha. Rabbi Yehuda Rabbanan. There's two opinions. It's Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbanan. Now we have a long brisa that to explain this, what the sources of these two opinions. The Tanya was taught in a brisa mechusrei kapara. People that were tummy, they went to the mikveh. They waited past the nightfall, but the following day they didn't bring their karbanos yet. And shenichnasu la'azara, they came into the azara before they brought their sacrifices. They're pure for all other purposes, but not for the entrance into the temple. So if it's b'shoigeg, it's chayiv chatas, and if it's b'mezid, it's anish kares. If they enter the temple without their full purity, it's kares b'mezid. For sure, if they didn't finish waiting that day, they just went to the mikveh. B'shar kol atmeim, anyone else that's impure, utahirim, or even if they are pure, shenichnasu lefnim mechitzasan, they came in further than where they're allowed to go. They had 11 cubits where they can go. They went into the heichal kulai, into the entire heichal. The arbaim is an expression which means that there's malchus. Mi bais laparechas, if it's inside the kodesh hakadashim, el pnei hakapayras, or if it's inside the kodesh hakadashim, in front of the aron, it's b'misa. Now Rabbi Yehuda Imer, that's the first opinion, that an entrance into the kodesh hakadashim is misa b'dei shemayim, and if you're in front of the aron, it's also misa b'dei shemayim. When you're inside, you go further. Rabbi Yehuda Imer kol heichal kulai umi bayis laparechas barbaim. Rabbi Yehuda holds even entering into the kodesh hakadashim is only malchus. Kodesh hakadashim doesn't give misa. Bel pnei hakapayres b'misa. If you enter in front of the ark, kapayres is the lid on the ark. If you enter in front of the ark, then it's misa. What's the machlokes here? B'haikra. They're both discussing one pasuk. Vayomer Hashem el Moshe daber al Aaron achicha v'al yavi b'chalei shel hakodesh mi beis laparechas el pnei hakaperes asher la'aron v'layamas. This pasuk says, starts off with saying, "Do not enter al yavai." It lists three locations: el hakodesh, mi beis laparechas, and el pnei hakaperes. And then it says in the end v'layamas. So if it only had two locations, I would say that the first location is Val Yavai, and the second location is V'layamas. What do I do with the middle location? That's the question. Rabbanan Savri ala Kodesh V'layavai. First location is a regular negative prohibition, which means Malchus. V'beis laparechas v'pnei hakaperes V'layamas. Entrance into the Kodesh HaKadoshim and in front of the ark have the same penalty, same punishment. Death by heaven. Rabbi Yehuda Savar, El HaKodesh Mi Beis LaParechas B'Layavai. He puts the first two, the sanctuary and entrance into the Kodesh HaKadoshim is a negative prohibition. Well, Pnei HaKaperes B'Layamas. Only the last one in front of the ark is Misa. My time of the Rabbanan. The question is where you put the comma, right? My time of the Rabbanan. What's the reason for the Rabbanan? So they have a very good logic. If you're going to say the way Rabbi Yehuda says, that you put the comma after the first two, you just skip the middle case. Skip the middle case of entrance into the sanctuary, according to Rabbi Yehuda. Because, oh, very nice. Look at that.
Where's the honey?
The honey is in the apple. This is the honey tray.
Oh, okay. All in one.
It's built in.
No dipping.
If we would go like Rabbi Yehuda says, So it works like this. You don't have to say entrance into the Kodesh HaKadoshim. I would have said Heichel the Mechayev if the person's obligated for going into the sanctuary. It's a negative prohibition. Entrance into the Kodesh HaKadoshim, for sure it's a negative prohibition. Why does it need to say that? It's just an extension of the Heichel, another negative prohibition. Must be is telling me a bigger chiddush. Rabbi Yehuda, how does Rabbi Yehuda respond to that? It's not necessary to say mi Bais lapareiches. So Rabbi Yehuda, kas rachman ala kodesh, if it would have said just entrance into the sanctuary, like kasav mi Bais lapareiches, and it didn't say entrance into the Kodesh HaKadoshim, so havamina my kodesh. I would have reinterpreted what does it mean kodesh? It's the sanctuary. What is the kodesh? It must mean entrance into the Kodesh HaKadoshim, because that was never mentioned. So it must mean Bais lapareiches, aval heichal, but entrance into the sanctuary, lav nami loy. I would say it's not even a negative prohibition. Okay, Rabbanan, how did Rabbanan respond to that? We would have reinterpreted that word. We're on the first wide line on 27b. The Gemara says, Rabbanan, hahulay matzis amrit. You can't say that the heichal is not the kodesh. The Heichel Kula Yikr Kodesh. We have other verses that the Heichel is called Kodesh. Nemar. V'vdila Preiches Lachem Bein HaKodesh Bein HaKadoshim. Where's that pasuk? In Shemais, in where it talks about the wherever it talks about the building of the Mishkan. Rabbi Yehuda, what's the reason? All we did now is we said the Rabbanan's opinion and Rabbi Yehuda's defense. But what's Rabbi Yehuda's opinion? Rabbi Yehuda holds that entrance into the Kodesh HaKadoshim doesn't cause a person to have Misa B'dei Shemayim. Only if he goes in front of the ark. Yehuda my time. What's the reason for Rabbi Yehuda? Isal Kadait Kada Amri Rabbanan. If you're going to accept the way the Rabbanan say, Lichtev Rachmana La Kodesh Mi Beis LaParechas. If you already have Misa, just entrance into the sanctuary, why do you have to enter in front of the ark? If there's death penalty, entrance into the Kodesh HaKadoshim, you have to tell me that there's misa if you go all the way in front of the ark. Why does it need to say that there's misa if you go in front of the ark? That tells me that that's the only place where there's the death penalty in front of the ark. But entrance into the Kodesh HaKadoshim is not necessary. That's only a negative prohibition for Rabbanan. What do the Rabbanan say to that? It's a very good question on the Rabbanan. It doesn't need to say entrance in front of the to going in front of the ark. Of course, there's misa there. It really doesn't need to say it. Teaching me a different law. This that it says that there's death penalty if you go in front of the ark. This means if you go through in an abnormal entrance, you dig your way in through the back walls or whatever. Tunneling, right? The Tana Debei Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov, as it was taught in the yeshiva of Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov, it says Al Pnei Kapiris Kedma. It says in front of the ark. Kapiris is the lid of the ark. Al Pnei Kapiris to the east. Zebna'ab. This is a teaching for everywhere else. That Kol Makom Shenemar Pnei Ein Al Pnei Kadim. It always means to the east. If it says the face of, it means to the east. I don't know those rocks and wherever that have the faces on them. What are they called? The old men. Yeah. I don't know if it's to the east or not. Pnei in the Torah always means to the east. Okay. So it teaches us Al Pnei HaKapiros that the entrance needs to be from the east to the west. That means you're coming in the normal way into the Kodesh HaKadoshim. That's when a person will be chayav. Rabbi Yehuda, what does Rabbi Yehuda do? According to Rabbi Yehuda, he doesn't know the laws of entering in the normal way because he says you're only chayav if you come in front of the ark. He says lemakra pnei, my el pnei. Just to teach me that to come in from the east, it only needs to say pnei. But el pnei, shmamina el dafka. The el teaches me that it needs to be directly in front of the ark. Okay, that was a very important lesson. El means dafka. For Rabbanan, El is lav dafka. El doesn't mean specifically in front. It means towards, or it doesn't mean specifically in that direction. Rabbi Yehuda Damar al Pnei Kaperes Dafka. Now we go back to what we were thinking about. We're discussing sprinkling the blood of the red heifer towards the temple. Rabbi Yehuda holds El is specific. So therefore, V'hize El Neichach, sprinkling towards, and it says El, is Nami Dafka.
That direction.
Right. The Rabbanan hold Mida Hasam Lav Dafka, just like entrance into the sanctuary, the El would not have told me that it needs to be in front of the ark. So Hachanami Lav Dafka. Here also, it's Lav Dafka, and it doesn't need to be, the sprinkling doesn't need to be directly towards the temple. Now, if that's the case, we've just resolved the contradiction in the Bais that we had at the beginning. One said that if you sprinkle towards the sanctuary, it needs to be sprinkled towards the sanctuary to be valid. And the other one said that it doesn't need to be sprinkled towards it. To be valid? What's the machlaikas? Machlaikas is Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbanan, how you translate the word El. Okay. Maskef la Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Yehuda. Maskef la Rabbi Yosef. Rabbi Yosef has a question, and this is a question to Rav Chisda, because Rav Chisda did this whole reconciliation, this resolving this contradiction. So Rabbi Yosef says, Le Rabbi Yehuda, according to the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda, Mida El Dafka, Al Neichach Nami Dafka. I'm not supposed to read that. What is the Gimel here? Al Nami Dafka. So An is also specific. So Ela de Mikdasheni. What are we going to do in the second temple? Where you don't have the ark and you don't have the lid on the ark. Is this true that you don't do any sprinkling because El needs to be towards? Al must mean on. And if it's not there, how do you do it on? According to Rabbi Yehuda.
It's the rock.
So Amar Rabba Bar Ula Amar Kra. No, we're talking about in the sanctuary.
Yeah, there's a rock there. There was a rock.
Oh, there was just a rock, right. So Amar Rabba Ula Amar Kra V'chiperes Mikdash HaKodesh Makim HaMakodesh LaKodesh.
He's sitting on the high chairs and he's a Levi. He knows his job, Rabbi.
She says we're talking about the place of the Aron. That's good enough. In the second temple, it's good enough. We have a verse that says the place of the ark is good enough. Rava Amar Hava Rabba. Rava has another interpretation.
I want to ask a question. Today we know the Holy Temple is not in. What is the Rabbi opinion regarding people going to Arabite and walking around it? As is the same thing as what we have here, that you Chayav Mita, or is...
I don't know.
No, they say Tumah Hutra B'Sibur. It's when everybody is Tameh, everybody's Tameh, then it's allowed, right?
For communal sacrifices.
Why you even have this thought?
We're
Having the Bais of
that?
Mikdash say.
I think so.
Ah, it's only for that. Oh, you just can't walk around in there.
That was old days. New days we have the Bais of Mikdash today.
Talking about the Temple Mount. I don't know if going to the place of the Kodesh HaKadoshim, I don't know about that. Just the Temple Mount. If you a tummy mace can go to the Temple Mount.
Right.
You just can't be a zav or you need to go to the mikveh. Maybe a Mayan.
You need Efer Para Aduma to be...
Yeah, but that's to enter into the temple.
So
The Harabayas is the tummy mace should be allowed, right? It's Machna Leviyah. Okay. Rav Amar Hava Rabbanan. Rava says this and this is both the rabbi's opinion. How are we going to resolve that? It's both the rabbi's opinion. So how does one say that it's... One Bais says that the direction doesn't matter, the way you're sprinkling it. So, Haidekoi Mizrach Amayra Vadi, Haidekoi Tzaf Medarim Vadi. If he's facing in the right direction and he's sprinkling, even if he doesn't go directly towards the entranceway, then fine. He's facing east and west, that's good. But if he's facing north and south, he's totally off. Okay, that's a good answer. Amar Mar, we learned before, the master said, Here we're quoting a brisa by saying Amar Mar. Okay. Quoting a brisa that was mentioned before. We're trying to determine in our learning when it uses the word Amar Mar, when it uses the term Gufa. So far we've established that Amar Mar is when it goes back to a brisa, and Gufa is when it goes back to Amirayim. But we're seeing if it really fits.
So this Amar Mar is a brisa?
Yeah, it's going back to a brisa. So far it's been working out. Amar Mar, V'sheb Ifnim, V'sheb Mitzayra, Shlei Lashmanis Psules. It's the sprinkling inside the sanctuary of those sacrifices that get brought in, or the sprinkling of the Mitzayra. If it's done with the wrong intention, it's possible. Shlei Mechavanis is Ksheris. Now, sprinkling of the Mitzayra, I believe it's talking about. Is it talking about the oil of the Mitzayra, or is it talking about the sacrifice? Just 1 second. The oil.
The oil?
Yeah.
When you put on the earlobe and on the thumb
He
and
sprinkles.
on the toe?
He sprinkles first.
That's, the oil.
The oil gets sprinkled. So it has to be sprinkled towards the sanctuary. So Shlei Mechavanis is Ksheris. If it doesn't go directly towards there, it's fine. V'hatanya, but it was taught in another brisa. Bein Shlei Lishman, Bein Shlei Mechavanis is Ksheris. That it doesn't even need to be the right intention. Amar Rav Yosef like Kasha. Rav Yosef says it's not a problem. Ha Rabbi Eliezer, ha Rabbanan. It's machlekes Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbanan. Rabbi Eliezer has a lot of interesting opinions in Zvachim and Menachos. Rabbi Eliezer says the makish Hashem lechatas. We know that a chatas that's done for the wrong intention is pasal, and also a carbon pesach. That's the opinion of that's everyone's opinion. There's one other opinion of Rabbi Eliezer that says that an asham is the same as a chatas. So that an asham is also with the wrong intention, it's not valid. So because Rabbi Eliezer compares the asham to the chatas, makish nami loig asham, he also compares the oil to the asham. The Mitzayra brings the asham in, and then and the oil goes along with it. So Rabbanan le makshi. The Rabbi Eliezer is makish, and Rabbanan is not makish. Makish means to compare. Le Rabbi Eliezer, v'chidavar alamed behekesh, chesem alamed behekesh. This is taking us back. I don't know if you remember, we had like 4 pages in Zvachim, that if one thing that's learned with a comparison, can it go and teach again with a comparison? Remember that? So, we said no.
You saw it, Rabbi, what you done to me. Wow.
What happened?
Nothing happened.
So how could Rabbi Eliezer say that if we compare the Yasham to the Chatas, we're then we're then going to compare to the loig, the oil to the Yasham? It's a double comparison. It's too far removed. Ella Marava, rather Rabbi says, Hava HaRabbanan, this and this is the Rabbanan. Kan lahachshe, kan lahartzis. We're discussing 2 different things here. We're confusing 2 things. One is the sacrifice kosher? The other one is was the sacrifice an appeasement to God? So the way it's going to work is like this: that the one that says that it's kosher, that says that the korban is kosher, and the kohanim can eat the oil. The one that says that it was not kosher means that the owners need to bring another one, but not that it can't be eaten. It's valid to be eaten, but it didn't appease. It wasn't an appeasement for the owners. A lot of these parentheses are commentary that got added in, which are many of them are correct, but it doesn't. It's not the original Gemara.
Can't change it.
Right. See, on the side they say that that's not in the manuscripts. It was a commentary that someone wrote, to help him understand, which we do all the time. We write commentaries. People write in their books.
But on the side, they don't write in the Gemara.
No, they'll write, and they'll because Gemaras were handwritten.
Right.
So writing on the side is not necessarily on the side like everything was block, like that. It was a notebook.
Oh, it was just a notebook. Okay.
So
So
on the side it ends up when the printer takes it, it puts it in. So or things get added in. Okay. The Mishnah says, Shiva kani menayer makvan zeh. The 7 stems, is that called stems? Branches. branches of the menorah are ma'akev each other. It means if one's missing, the rest of the menorah is not valid. Shiva neriseh ma'akven zeh. The 7 holders of the oil on the top. The ner is the actual cups.
Yeah.
Those are ma'akev each other. Shtei parsha shemezuzah ma'akev zuzah. Okay, now we're starting to get it interesting. I said that Menachos is not strictly about Menachos, like Zvachim was Zvachim. There wasn't another topic in the whole Sefer. But Menachos has other things, and here it starts to get introduced. The 2 portions that are in the mezuzah are ma'akev, Shema and Vayim Shemaya. Afilu k'savech and makman, even one letter. Daled parshas shebetfilin ma'akev zuazu. The 4 portions of tefillin are ma'akev one each other. If you don't have all 4, afilu k'savech and makman, even missing a letter, it's ma'akev the tefillin. Daled tzitzis ma'akev zuazu. 4 tzitzis is ma'akev one another. In other words, you can't just have 3. Shabbatim mitzvachas, because all 4, there's only one mitzvah. Rabbi Shmuel Leimer Rabatan Arba mitzvahs, that there's 4 mitzvahs there. We'll have to see what that means. And therefore, they're not ma'akev one another. Okay.
Means the 4 corners or the 4 strings?
At least there are 4 corners, but each corner has its own mitzvah, I believe. We'll have to wait for the Gemara to get it. Okay. As we learned yesterday, that there's several possibilities why something should be ma'akev, that it's invalid. One of them is if it's repeated. The Torah says it once, that's for the mitzvah. The second time it says it is to tell me that if you don't have it, it's ma'akev. Or there could be a specific word that tells me that this is mandatory. That is havaya. If it says tihiyana, yiyu, those are the words. Or it says chuka, or it says kacha. So shall it be done. So kacha yasu, kain yasa. Okay. So my time. The first question is, why is the branches of the menorah ma'akev one another? It says havaya ksivbu. It says havaya. What is the pasuk? Kafterem k'neisim mimenu yiyu. The bulbs and the branches should be from it, and it says should be. That means that it's ma'akev. Tana Rabbanan. The rabbis taught in a brisa, important brisa. Menorah haisabam in eshes. The menorah was brought. Eshes means that it's 1 block. Min azav, and it was brought from gold. Asam min agrutes. If it's made from broken pieces, or like small ingots, small little pieces of gold, psulis, that's no good.
But if he melted and rebuild it, is still psula?
I think if you turn it back into 1 block, I don't know if it means the original ore, the original ore from the ground, or if it means that you have to start it off as 1 block. I mean, all gold is recycled, right?
Yes, all metal are recycled.
So it must mean that it's just 1 big block of gold. Not necessarily that was taken out of the ground, but you started off like that. Mishar mina mataches kshera, but it's allowed to be from other types of metal. Maishna mina grutis psula. Why are you saying that if it's from small broken pieces of gold, it's invalid? The ksiv miksha v'havaya, because it says miksha, it needs to be solid. Miksha actually means to banged out, but that tells me if you need to bang it out, that means it's from 1 piece. And it also says havaya. It says that that word it should be. And havaya tells me that it's ma'akev. So shamina matachis nami. Zahav havaya. It also says that it needs to be gold. And it also says havaya. So why are you saying that gold doesn't matter, but being from 1 block does matter? So amakra, teyaser. It should be made. That's a passive. Instead of the act, it should be made, which means that it should be made in any way. It's coming to include however you make it is fine. The Rabbi Sharmin Amatach is coming to include if it's made from other metals. So when it says 1 second, who says that it's other metals that it's including? Do not think like that. Because on the word miksha, solid, it says it should be. The Gemara says, 1 second. Tiyasanami. The mikshik shiva avoya. So it says Tiyasanami on mikshik siv. Tiyasa also it says by miksha, which is the passive, which is including. So you're saying because it has the exclusion of havaya, so on the miksha, that it needs to be solid. So therefore, that's the one that really matters. Well, guess what? The inclusion of the passive term of it should be made is also on the miksha. Because you have in the verse, the entire verse says, you should make the menorah of pure gold, miksha, teyaseh, it should be made in the passive. And then it goes on, the bulbs and this and the flowers, and it should be. So the gold was the beginning of the pasuk. Then it says miksha. Then it says teyaseh, it should be made. And at the end it says yiyu, it should be. So the yiyu is closer to the miksha. So the Gemara says, 1 second, yiyu is closer to the miksha, fine. But teyaseh is also closer to the miksha. Okay. So the Gemara says, 1 second, miksha la'akiv. So zav nami la'akiv. It says miksha twice. So what? It says gold also twice. It says haimai, 1 second. If it would say that the grutas from broken pieces of gold is invalid, which that's the way we're saying. However, other metals is kosher. So hainu zav, miksha lidrasha. Now we can learn something from the fact that it says doubly zav, it says twice the word zav, and the fact that it says miksha twice. But if you're going to do it the opposite, so zav miksha my derash the bay, then what are we going to learn from those double words? The Tanya that it was taught in the Bais. Allow us another minute just to finish this, so we don't have to go over it. It says kikar zav tar yasa isa es kol hakela ma'ila. It says it should be made out of a kikar of zav. Kikar is a measurement of gold. Ba zav, if you bring it from gold, ba kikar, then it has to be brought from this kikar, which is this measurement. Eina ba zav, if you don't bring it from gold, eina ba kikar, then it doesn't need to be from this measurement. That means there's other things you can bring it from. Gviya kaftera prachea. Those are the goblets and the knobs and the blossoms. Ba'azav, ba'gviyim kafter and prachim. Then it needs to have that design. Eina ba'azav, if it doesn't come from gold. Eina ba'gviyim kafter and prachim. Then you don't need those designs of the bulbs. And ve'emanami ba'azav ba'kanim. Eina ba'azav, eina ba'kanim. Maybe if it comes from gold, you need to have branches. If it doesn't come from gold, you don't need branches. That's not even called a candelabra. If it's just no branches, it's not called a menorah. If it comes from gold, it needs to be one solid block. If it doesn't come from gold, it doesn't need to be miksha. Miksha d'seif l'mayasa, l'muti chatzaitzers. Okay, this is where we'll stop. That the trumpets don't need to be one solid block. But what we just learned was that the when it's gold, I need to be able to do it certain ways, but other metals I don't need that. That means that it's kosher if it's other metals, and if it's gold, it needs to be from a solid block. Okay, that tells me that it's only kosher gold from the solid block, but other metals would be kosher, and that's the only way I can use the double expressions here.
Thank you.